Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai.
So we saw that with Akrura coming to Vrindavan to call Krishna to Mathura on the invitation of Kans, the whole Vrindavan chapter, the whole Vrindavan Leela in Krishna's life gets over. So we had divided his life into his relationship with Radha into three parts: Radhe Govind, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Shyam. So Radhe Govind is now over. The physical meeting, go being the senses, the five senses. So the physical meeting was over. Now in Shrungar, the ras of love, when Shrungar is over, what remains is Virha, the pain of separation. And this pain of separation can be used, it can be transformed. In the language of Bhakti, it is between the Bhakt and his Bhagwan. In the language of Vedanta, it is Ansh and Anshi. The small part, it feels separated from the whole. There is this pain of separation from the whole. So, how does Radha transform this pain of separation from Krishna into that? She transforms it into a merging into the whole, into the wholeness. Now, what happens normally in love? In normal love, what happens? Do we sense and feel love as an energy? Or does it immediately transform into possessiveness? Like we want to possess the other person, we want to have victory over the other person. So if we can feel love as an energy, and the other person just as an instrument, that energy was lying somewhere deep within us. We have not fallen in love with the other person, because if the other is there, then possessiveness is round the corner, and possessiveness kills love. But love as just a flowering of some gentle bud within us, a small flower within us. Then we feel the energy of love, and we try to hold the energy of love. The lover or the other person is just an excuse for something that was lying within us to flower. Now it has started flowering, and the most important thing is to hold on to that energy, because it is that energy which will bring transformation. And that energy rises from the lower, it goes higher. In the lower, waves of jealousy, waves of possessiveness, waves of argument come, disagreement with the person we love. And it is in all that we have to keep on giving water to that small bud of love. But the minute we go to possess the other, the minute we go to put our will on the other, the minute the other must do as what we say, I am right and you are wrong, then love gets killed, this energy gets killed. So, to look after that energy and slowly allow it to rise. And when it starts rising, it changes everything in our lives. Initially, negative emotions come. Slowly a point comes where the energy rises in such a way that we don't need the other person any longer. Now it is expanding. Initially, we felt a separation from that other person. And if we learn to hold that separation, to dissolve into the pain of that separation becomes a stepping stone for a higher joy. But we have to pass through that period of transformation, that period of tapa, that period of moving through the pain, dissolving in the pain. Then the energy of love rises and it starts filling, and it is very, very material. It comes right down to the touch, to the five senses. It comes right down to the speech. It comes to the sight in the eyes. It filters into the five senses. Then everything in life is love. Because we have looked after that one energy which nature gave us as a gift, but usually which we waste away. That love gives a sensitivity of self. It is a door to consciousness because there is a continuous sensitivity of self. Self not as in name, self not as in a mother or father, but self as something which is looking at all this, something which is separate from all this, the real self. There is a different sensitivity about love. Then nothing in life is wrong. Nothing in life can ever be wrong. Somebody insults you, it comes in through that filter of love. It comes in through the spectacles of love. And he is insulting you, but it comes in through those spectacles of love, it transforms. Then there's never any reaction in life. There's a new awakening. So that energy, first somebody is needed for that energy to rise, and then that person is not needed, and then that energy expands. Brahma means the expanding consciousness. So that energy becomes Brahma. It expands. So now there is no physical meeting between Radha and Krishna. Even though it is there in the Shastra that 3 times Krishna did mentally come to meet her. But there was no physical meeting. He goes to Mathura, he beats Kans, kills Kans. He could have become the king, but he gives the crown to Ugrasen, Kans's father. And this is very important. There was no possessiveness in him, that he had won the, the kingdom of Mathura or anything. He just gave it away. Now when in this ras of Virha, it contains 2 very, very powerful instruments for transformation. The first is what we call the pain of separation. And we can feel this pain in small things in our lives. Just your son is going away to study somewhere. There is a pain of separation. The minute we complain, we have wasted that pain. The minute we talk about it to somebody, we have wasted that pain. But that is the pain of separation. There is Amrit in this pain. There is elixir in this pain. And by just holding that pain, something dissolves. And if this proper dissolution, there is a sudden glimpse of something. Patanjali has 2 beautiful sutras where he talks about Vairagya. And the first Vairagya he calls as Upper Vairagya, the lower Vairagya. And then he says, par Vairagya, the higher Vairagya. And he talks about it in 2 sutras. Shrut, Anuman, Vishaya, Vashikar, Sangya, Vairagya. Shrut means heard. Anuman, through the other 5 senses. So, that which is seen through the 5 senses, that which is heard through the 5 senses, those objects which try to control us, Vashika, which try to control us, which try to hypnotize us. Every event in life tries to hypnotize us. Life is a series of events, and every event steals consciousness from us. After every event, we are poorer for consciousness. Whether we won in the event or whether we been defeated in the event. Whether we made money in the event or we lost money in the event. Whether we were happy in the event or whether we were sad in the event. Every event steals consciousness from us. We don't gain consciousness. I keep repeating what Ram Dulare Bapu used to tell us is, when you go for a movie, take the chair, put it near the screen, don't look at the movie, look at the people. Right? And this is the story of our lives. We come into this movie of life, we are hypnotized by the event, and we go out one day. Not a moment goes by when we are free of this hypnosis. So, Patanjali is saying Shruta Anuman, with the 5 senses, Vishay, the Vishay, they take us into Vashika, they hypnotize us. Sangna, to control that hypnosis, that is the first Vairagya, to control that hypnosis. Don't control the hypnosis by throwing away the objects of the senses, then we'll dream about them. By becoming a sadhu, I cannot be free of the objects of the senses. Then I'll sit in meditation and dream about them. It won't make any difference. But this inner desire which is born, I can drop it. Control it, drop it. That which is hypnotizing me, drop it. You give me a good meal today, I'm happy, then I enjoy it. I don't say I don't want it. I only eat dry bread and nothing else. I enjoy it. But immediately the desire will come. Tomorrow will I get it again? And that is what I want to drop. Just drop it. Then meal cannot control me. Then I am not in its control. I've broken the hypnosis. And that desire comes automatically. That please give it to me again tomorrow. And as it comes into the mind, just drop it at that moment. My son comes and says that, okay, I got good marks. What will happen in your final exams? Drop it. Just drop it. Enjoy this moment. This moment is fresh. In this moment there is joy. Enjoy it. And drop the desire for tomorrow. And if we can keep on practicing this, every moment of our lives, because every moment there is something and there is some residue, and from that residue, calm is born, desire is born. And sometimes it happens with something new. I may have just bought a new TV. And I say, oh, but after 6 months I'm going to buy this one. And we've not yet enjoyed this one TV which we have bought. And Patanjali is saying, drop this. And he says, as you continuously drop this, and we can do it in longing, in virha. Go to a shop, you see something beautiful in the shop. It's very good, better than sitting in meditation, go window shopping. It's a form of prayer. Things attract you. And this longing for that, and dissolve into the longing. See beautiful things. Again, desire grows. Again, dissolve into it. Drop the desire. And this practice of dropping desire. Then he says, as you practice this, tat param purusha khyatir guna vaitrishnasya. Then the inner seer, Purush, the inner Atma, the inner soul, as you practice this, the minute it is practiced properly, from par vairagya you go to apar, tat param. Apar vairagya you go to par vairagya, tat param. Purusha khyatir, the inner seer, the inner Atma, the inner soul, it will unfold, khyatir, it will unfold like a flower. And tat param purusha khyatir, guna vaitrishnasya, the three forces which till now were hypnotizing me in the form of different events, in the form of different objects, those three forces, I will be free of them. They will not be able to invoke Trishna in me again. They will not be able to create desire in me again. Vaitrishnasya. So, these are simple practices. It's not something which Radha did maybe thousands of years ago. We can do it every day, right from small objects to small possessions to our loved ones. There is this feeling of separation, and we can keep on using the feeling of separation. If I'm here, there's a feeling of separation from my family. Use the feeling of separation. Hold it. Feel its sensitivity. Go into it. Dissolve into it. And there is joy. In pain, there is greater joy. In separation, there is greater joy. And that is why Krishna did not come, because Radha was going through a process. And if he had come, he would have spoiled the process. This is one big question in Vaishnavas, that Krishna left, why did he not come back? But if he had come back, the whole process would have been spoiled. So keep on dissolving, holding the separation, dissolving into the separation. Gurdjieff calls this as self-remembering, remembering the self. Tat param purusha khyatir, the inner self. We don't remember ourselves. We always arrogate ourselves that I said this and I did this and I. But who is that I? Do I remember where he came from? What was he before he was a name? What is the feeling of that I? We don't know the feeling of I. I know this when I touch it. I know the feeling of this box. It's a little smooth and little rough over here. But the person who is touching it, do I have a feeling of that person? It's empty. There's nothing over there. There's a blank space over there. It is that feeling which comes with consciousness, the feeling of I. Talking, I talking. Having bath, I having bath. Two different feelings. Feeling of I, having bath. Two different feelings. But that feeling of I at present has been hypnotized. It's gone to sleep. It's lost. And he leaves the flute. He doesn't take the flute with him to Mathura. Now there's no more playing of the flute. The flute will come later on in a different form. So we have two ras left with us, Virha ras and the ras which comes from memories. Now, media plays a certain role, and whenever you see any of these serials where Radha and Krishna have separated, Radha is crying, and so she was not dukhi. There's no way, the director may have been dukhi, but Radha was not. She was in a state of pratiksha, a state of waiting. She knows he is not going to come, but still she is in a state of waiting. This is the beauty. Somebody asked Ram Dulare Bapu, what is this spiritual journey? Bapu, humne kyo kya? Adhyatma etle so. What is this spiritual journey? And he said two things, pratiksha and titiksha. Pratiksha is the power of waiting. Dharana Shakti. Titiksha is the power of endurance. Can we endure? If somebody was to ask me, what is the barometer that somebody has walked on the path? What is the measurement? How do you measure how much has this person walked? And for me, the only measurement is how much of negativity can he take, endure. What is his power of endurance? If somebody criticizes him, does he feel hurt immediately? If somebody insults him, does he feel put down immediately? Then there's no real I inside. There's an empty space inside. But does he have the power of endurance? The endurance to take on all forms of negativity and still not move an inch inside. And this is not a dead endurance. He's not become a stone. An alive endurance. That is the one measurement that we have walked on the path. And now we can take people's criticism. Now people can insult us to their heart's content. Now people can cheat us all they want. My guru used to make oil. It was a beautiful oil, man. It was an all-purpose oil. We make kilos of that oil every year. We continue to this thing. We distribute the oil. And there used to be these 2-3 people who used to, I don't know if you know, in Bombay, in the old days, there used to be these people who would give you a massage in Chopati at night. I remember I used to go when I was in college, I would walk down to Chopati in the middle of the night at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, get an excellent massage in 1 rupee 50 paisa, 2 rupees. And those massage people would come to him and take bottles of oil. Now, usually, you see, in us judgment comes that we are giving it to him free, he is selling it because he is making a business out of it. It is his business to massage someone. So my guru's wife, we used to call her Mama, she would get very angry when these people come and she says, "Khabar nathi, vechwa mate lai jai chhe." And she, you know, in Parsi, they can be really rude to their husbands, you know, so they can really give it to them. So she would really give it to him and say, he's taking it to sell it. How can you give it? And my guru would, everybody else who would come to ask for oil would get a small bottle like this. But these massage people would get 4 or 5 big bottles like this. And he would come like this and take those big bottles. And then when she's complaining that why you're giving it to me, he'll bring 2 more big bottles and put it in. So, the idea is to give. The power of endurance. The power of endurance. We cannot endure. He's taking it free of charge. Endurance. Endurance. It's a beautiful slok, I think, in the Gita. Where Krishna is telling Arjun that which comes in, it is only matra sparshastu konteya. Sita ushna, sukha dukha. Tan titikshasva konteya. Okay, that which is coming in, it is either giving pain or pleasure. It is either cold or hot. Shita ushna. Tanti tikshasva konteya. Hey konteya, just endure it. Learn to endure. Don't complain about anything. Don't complain about it. We complain. I remember we went once to see an exhibition by Salvador Dali. And Dali had this beautiful, huge canvas of Christ. And he's put Christ on the cross. And there are nails in his hands and in his feet. And there's no blood. There's no blood in the whole painting. Dali must have gone into some state and been able to do this artwork. He's saying that they put nails in his hands, but he did not complain. There's no blood. There was no complaining. But we complain in the small things in life and we throw it away. We throw away the energy, we waste away the energy to complain. And it's a beautiful painting because Christ's body is like this and the cross is like this. So however beautiful the body has to fall to the ground, but the spirit always rises. So don't think that Radha was in pain or dukhi. And second thing, she never daydreamed that tomorrow will be better. When we are in pain, there is always hope that tomorrow will be better. We can't live with the pain. She was living with the pain. So there was no daydreaming, there was no brooding, there was no if only Krishna had been here. There was just living with the pain. There was the pain of separation and the holding of pratiksha, the holding of waiting. Only the present moment. And she lived in that present moment. So all the serials, what they portray, just nothing to do with what happened. You have to have, you must have strength to do this in life. It's very easy to become a victim of pain and start complaining and daydreaming and brooding about it. So many times I feel that virha je છે ને વીરોનું કામ છે. Only the person who has strength in his bones, in his marrow, can go through this whole process of virha. So it is not tragic, but we can call it a divine tragedy. It's not sad, but it is the transformation of the energy of love into a very high, powerful energy. In this longing, in this pulling, there is always dissolution of the ego. I love this in a shop. I say my desire is rising. I want to possess this, but I dissolve into it. I forsake my desiring. I give up the desiring. I see that there is dissolution of the ego. Now, Radha went from this pain of virha, she went from Radhe Govind meeting Krishna to the pain of virha. But we have many other saints. Meera, Narsi, Surdas. What did they do? They never met Krishna. So what did they do? So they started with virha. Radha went in the second stage to virha. They started with virha. They lived in the pain of separation from Krishna. They did not know Krishna. They had never met Krishna. But they lived in this pain of separation from Krishna. And it is in this pain of separation from Krishna that they realized the truth. They merged into Krishna. They became one with Krishna. They used this pain. Meera used this pain to become one with Krishna. In her last days, she is in Varanasi and she sings that beautiful bhajan, Junu to thayu devar. Maro hanslo nano pan Junu to thayu. The body has become old, but the spirit is young. It has merged into that infinite consciousness. It can never become old. It is always fresh, like the present moment is fresh. It is always virgin. Nothing can taint it. You see, my body, the fort has become old. So what did they do? What did these bhakti yogis do? So they first went into this process, they merged into Krishna, and then they went back Radha went from back to front, forward. They went from forward to back. Through their dharana shakti, through their power of visualization, they created Gokul and Vrindavan in their own minds. And they went into the energy of sensitivity as if they were really touching Krishna, as if they were really listening to the flute of Krishna. And they enjoyed that. They enjoyed that space. Tomorrow we are going to talk, tomorrow may be a holiday, but we will talk about Raj. What is that space of Raj? That Raj space which is in some geographical part of India, or is it something within us? So they went into this space of Raj and they recreated everything that Radha did. This touching of Krishna, having ras with Krishna, dancing with him, playing with him on moonlit nights, roaming with him on the banks of the Yamuna. They redid that through their power of visualization, through their dharana shakti. And they enjoyed it so much that at one point Narsi had to say, Vraj balu re hoon, Vaikunt nahi aau. I don't want to go back into merging into Krishna. I'm enjoying this game so much, playing in Vraj. That game which he had created in his own consciousness. And always remember that the five senses are always in the present moment. We cannot take the five senses out of the present moment. I cannot taste an apple yesterday. It is in the now. So even though Krishna may have lived thousands of years ago, when they recreated that with the energy of sensitivity, it was not daydreaming, it was the power of visualization. Dharana Shakti. And when they recreated that, they really lived it in their five senses. So all these bhakti yogis, they first achieved the truth and they went back. Radha first was back and then she went into merge. It was an opposite journey. So from Radha went from Shrungar Ras to Virha Ras, they went from Virha Ras to Shrungar Ras. And that is the beauty. That is why you have to compliment them. That is why there's so much of joy in their bhajans. In the Mahabharata, there's a beautiful story of Dharana Shakti. સારું છે એક મહિનો અહીંયા છે. Pandavas have escaped from the palace of lack, Vrindavan, and they are moving through this forest called the Hidden One. Hidden means Antrikshma Udnari Shakti, that power of us to go into space. That is the literal meaning of the word hidden. So the power of imagination, the power of visualization. Once they say Narad was very worried, he said, everybody on earth is getting enlightened and they're all becoming God. So he went to Vishnu and he said that you do something about it, otherwise everybody will become God, what will you do? So Vishnu said, yes, when I made man, there was something left behind. I forgot to put the power of imagination into it. You go back, you put the power of imagination. If he imagines he is God, he'll never try to become God. It's power of imagination. So the Pandavas are moving through this forest called the Hidden One. And there is a Rakshas called Hidden. And he loves to eat human flesh and human blood. What does it mean? When do we eat flesh and blood? When do we eat flesh and blood? Moving in the space, moving in space. When do we eat flesh and blood? When we? So easy. Worry. When we worry, we are eating our own flesh and blood. We are eating our own flesh and blood. When we worry, we love to worry, no? We love to worry. One worry goes away, another is just waiting to take its place. Worry about the children, worry about this, worry about that. And it's so beautiful if you can see an attack of worrying coming and you stand away. And you say, okay, I worry, but there is something higher, there's some other intelligence. And if we can surrender to that intelligence, the worry goes away. We kill that Rakshas called Hidim. Bhim kills that Rakshas. And then the Rakshas's sister, she falls in love with Bhim, Hidimba. And she goes to Bhim's mother, I have fallen in love with your son, I want to marry him. And so they get married. So you kill negative imagination, you kill worrying, and you turn imagination into visualization. They had a son, Ghatotkach. Ghat means the power of dharana, the power to hold in one space, the power to hold in one space. Ghatotkach. They had a child, and he played a very big role in the Mahabharata battle. So, till we are able to kill worry, we must kill worry. There's nothing worth worrying about, but we worry about everything. Whether we paid the bill, whether there's enough vegetable in the fridge. If somebody is not come on time, then there's a good excuse to worry. Worry about everything, whether there will be traffic. If there's traffic, then it just increases our power of endurance. That's all. We worry about everything. Until we kill worry, we can't transform imagination into visualization. And when we can transform imagination into visualization, one day we will be able to transform it into materialization, which these sons did, which these saints did. Mirabai, Narsi Mehta, Surdas. They changed it into materialization. They really lived the Vrindavan Leela with Krishna. When we sing bhajans, it's just a romantic illusion. There's nothing to do with Krishna or dancing. We don't even have the power of Dharana Shakti. How are we going to? It's just some daydreaming which we do, that we are dancing with Krishna or something. It has nothing to do with what these saints did. So Radha Krishna is a mantra of Virha. Radha Govind is a mantra of meeting. So in this, there is a process of remembering. Now what does this process of remembering involve? Nostalgia. I have not yet found a proper word in Gujarati for this. Nostalgia. A certain feeling of joy by remembering the past. By remembering the incidents of the past. It brings romance in the being. It fills you with a certain intensity in the present moment. Excuse me. Some people, they enjoy, even I enjoy, listening to old songs. There's a kind of romance which comes inside. A romance in meeting an old friend after 20 years. This is nostalgia. The power of nostalgia. Now we have our senses, the basic energy of the senses is the energy of sensitivity. But that energy of sensitivity is always stolen by excitement. Excitement kidnaps the energy of sensitivity. Apharan kari jai, the energy of sensitivity. And the problem is that we are always looking for excitement. We always want something new. Which new movie, which new serial, which new dress, which new place are we going to? We are always looking for excitement. And to enjoy the old as if you are enjoying it for the first time, that is sensitivity. When we learn these exercises, the teacher told us, That you will be doing the same exercises every day, but every day do them as if you are doing it for the first time. Don't become a victim of boredom. Excitement and boredom go together. They are two sides of the same coin. The excitement is over, boredom remains. Shrunga Ras is over, Virha remains. But that is higher, this is lower. And our life swings from this boredom to excitement, boredom to excitement. No school teaches children today the power of sensitivity. More and more excitement, more and more gadgets. Not that it's wrong, but the other side has to be taught. So, nostalgia, when we remember the past, not as an excitement, but as a now. Suddenly the senses all get filled with a kind of romance, with a kind of thrill, as if we are reliving that. And in that reliving it becomes powerful. Many times people ask me that, what remains of the Guru? I said, those 6 years I spent with him, they are filled with moments which I can relive. And in that reliving they become now. They become now. It is as if I am living, because the energy of sensitivity is always in the present moment. I can't take it out of the present moment. Yeah, if I am daydreaming, then it's different. This is not daydreaming. This is nostalgia, the power of nostalgia. And it becomes more and more powerful. So, Radha had this whole series of memories, this whole treasure house of memories of time she had spent with Krishna. And she transformed in two ways. One, she kept on dissolving into the pain of separation called Virha. And in the second, she brought back the old memories and relived them. This is a process, and a very deep process. Now, this word tantra means tanu, to stretch. Tanu means to stretch. To bring back the old memory and then expand it, stretch it, bring consciousness into it. Actually, what happened is that every week I have 2 swords dangling on my head. Monday I have to write one article and Thursday I have to write another article. So I was writing these notes and the phone came from India. And that, what about tomorrow's article? So then I wrote an article, The Power of Nostalgia. I was writing it here, so I wrote it here. Nostalgia is a soft, sentimental feeling of a past experience or event. In Greek, it means homecoming, coming home. Like meeting a friend after many years brings an inner thrill, a joy that fills our being. Many times we sit and listen to old songs and music. For a student of spirituality, the right use of nostalgia can become a very important tool and technique to move into higher levels of consciousness and sensitivity. What is the spiritual journey about? We are searching for something which we already have. That friend which we are meeting after 20 years or 30 years, it is the same friend which we are going to meet maybe after 1,000 years, I don't know. But it is, that friend is already there, we just can't find him. And the minute we get a glimpse of that friend, there's a glimpse of him. And suddenly the whole being is filled with a kind of nostalgia. I found my friend. I was missing him for so many years. And this thrill of meeting that inner friend. Christ is the inner friend. Krishna is the inner friend. So the height of spiritual experience is the feeling of nostalgia. It is as if after thousands of years we are meeting our friend again. The spiritual experience is nostalgic. We have a treasure house of memories, and if we can relive them, then we keep on moving into this feeling of nostalgia. The five senses are always in the present. So when we relive, not daydream, these memories we are now living with deep sensitivity and feeling in the five senses. This brings on a deep nostalgic experience. Holding this and expanding this is what we call as dharana. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. Holding this, bringing it in the five senses, feeling it and then expanding it. Tanu, to expand it in time. When Krishna left Vrindavan and Radha, he never came back again. All Radha had was the pain of separation called virha, and the memories of Krishna. She worked upon these and brought about a total transmutation in her being to merge and sublimate into Krishna. She would relive each of her memories with Krishna, expanding and intensifying their sensitivities and dissolving into the state of nostalgia. A point came when she was no more and presence of the long lost friend was always. She had merged into that infinity called Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita that we have today is not the one Krishna told Arjuna, but it is the one which Sanjay told to Dhritarashtra. Krishna told Arjuna, 10 days later Sanjay is telling to Dhritarashtra. We have it second hand. It is not the original which Krishna told Arjuna. It is the one which Sanjay told to Dhritarashtra. In his last slokas, when the Gita is getting over, the last slokas are all Sanjay Uvacha. He keeps recounting that how by reliving that process, he says that I have heard this great dialogue. And he says, just by reliving each of those instances, I am being transformed inside. This feeling of nostalgia is transforming me. And Sanjay was transformed. When the Mahabharata, it starts in a very funny way. There is this group of rishis sitting in the forest. And one rishi comes there. And he has just come from Parikshit's 7 days of Bhagavad. And the rishis ask him to recount what happened there. So the whole Mahabharata is in back, this thing, it's being recounted. And this rishi is recounting what has happened over there. And this head rishi of all this is asking him, okay, who understands this Mahabharata which you are going to tell us? So he says, Vyasji, the author, understands it. His son Sukha understands it. Maybe his other disciples like Vaishampayan and all understand it. And it is possible that Sanjay also understands it. Nobody else understands it. So he's saying, Sanjay, in that hearing of the Gita, just hearing it, what went on between Krishna and Arjuna, forget it. But Sanjay himself was transformed. And in the last slokas, he recounts how, by just reliving it, that transformation happens. So, all she had to do was go into the old memories, bring them into the present moment, expand upon them. That expansion of the energy of sensitivity. What do we call? Sensitivity is go, and expansion of go is go vardhan. Go vardhan. Go is the energy of sensitivity of the five senses, and go vardhan. In that expansion of that old moment into the now, we all become Govardhan. That is why Krishna is called Govardhan. This is the process that we go through. And at one point, she completely merges into Krishna. Nothing is left. It is this process. And from there, the last part of the mantra, Radhe Shyam. Shyam means blackness, shai, that which is dark, that which is sleeping forever and ever. Srai means to sleep, that which is sleeping forever and ever. That which is eternal, always and always. Shyam. Now she has merged. There they had merged in Vrindavan when they exchanged clothes. Nobody knew who was Radha and who was Krishna. They had exchanged each other's clothes. But that was just the exchange of the clothes. Now they merged into each other. Radha Krishna has become Radha Shyam. In Krishna he was pulling her, she was dissolving into. Now there is no more pulling also, everything is over. It's just a spiritual black hole, everything is dissolved into that spiritual black hole. So Radha Shyam is a mantra of vilay, of dissolving, of merging, lay of the chitta, lay of the body-brain system. And when everything dissolves, what remains? When everything dissolves, what remains? Only one tattva remains, and that is called as Akash. And what is the good of Akash? What is the good of Akash? What is the good of Akash? The symptom of Akash Tattva. The symptom of Prithvi Tattva is smell. The symptom of the Tanmatra of Jal Tattva, Apas Tattva is taste. What is the... What is the good of Akash? Shabda. Sound. Sound. So what comes back? What comes back? What comes back? He had left the flute in Vrindavan, and now they have merged into that Akash Tattva, and Akash Tattva, the sound is eternal. The flute is playing eternally. But when they exchange the clothes, right, the only way of knowing that this was not Radha and this was Krishna was who is playing the flute. But now the flute is being played, but who is playing it? No one knows, because it's just it is by nature of that Akash. By the very nature of merging is the flute goes on forever. So there's no Radha, no Krishna, just the guna of Akash. And that's all that remains. So there's a mishran of tattva, and in that tattva both of them have dissolved. This is the state of what we call as Advait. No more are they two. In that Chid Akash, we talked about the three screens that day. The Bhut Akash, the Chit Akash, the Chid Akash. In the Bhut Akash, they exchanged clothes. In the Chit Akash, she went through Virva. And in the Chid Akash, they both become one. And maybe if we make an effort, we can also hear the flute playing. But we need those ears, not these ears, some other ears. Right? I'll stop over here. This is just, I wanted to finish the Radha Krishna part of it. Is there any questions? We still have half an hour. So if there are any questions. Can I take the 4 states of consciousness I wanted to take? Because that is a sort of a preamble to what I want to talk about. Are there any questions? See, when we go into the Gopi Geet, the gopis have seen him. We have had an experience of that inner Krishna. And now that experience has gone away. So there is the outer setting of the Gopi Geet, of Vrindavan and this and that. We'll talk about that. And one is what the process which happens in all of us. That we get a glimpse of truth and then that glimpse goes away. And then we want that again. And it is in that wanting that Radha wanted Krishna, the gopis wanted Krishna. So this is the outer setting, that there is a person called Krishna and then the gopis and they separate. And there's one inner state where we experience it once and then we want it, and we pass through a long process to get it permanently. It is as if the house is dark, but a small crack in the wall and a ray of light comes in, but it takes a long time for the whole house to be full of light. So the crack has come in the gopis' wall. They have experienced Krishna once, and now Krishna has gone away, and they want that experience. And in that for that experience, they sing these 19 slokas. It is those 19 slokas which we are going to take. It is not something which just happened to the gopis. It is something which is happening within us. It is our search for truth, our search for that ultimate experience. Should I take it the 4 states of consciousness, or do you want to ask any questions? There are 4 states of consciousness. The first is Sushupti, deep sleep, darkness without any consciousness. It is a passive state, the body is quiescent, we could be dreaming in that state. The second state is Swapna, dreams. And dreams are of 2 types. One is the dream in which we see at night. But this state called Swapna is not talking about that sleep, dreams which we see at night. It is talking about the psychological sleep in which we are all 24 hours. A plant, see, Darwin talks about evolution, and he says that the waves of the ocean, they came and they met the shore. The waves left some foam behind and went away, and out of that foam the first form of life. Now, what does life mean? Supposing we are going to go back to the rishis, we'll take 2 words, Sat and Chit. Sat and Chit. We won't take Anand. We'll take just 2 words, Sat and Chit. Sat is to be, that is to be. Maybe we could keep a timer in our watches that 8 to 10 times in a day, just for 30 seconds we close our eyes and just be, don't become. Just be, don't become. The minute you become, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a this, then you're become. Right? Just to be, where you're nothing. Nothing has been added, just being. Not even knowing, because in knowing there is movement. In being there is no movement. In knowing there is light. In being there is no light also. To know, I need the power of attention. I need to throw a torch on this, then I know this. I need to understand to know. But even when I drop the knower, there is no knower inside. There is just the beer, the being. Just pure being. With knowing comes, knowing is Chit. Sat is not knowing, just being. Knowing is Chit. I am Sat. I know that I am Sat plus Chit. What comes in between being and knowing? What is this ray of light? What happens? What covering comes in? That there is even though we use the 2 words together, there is a vast difference between the 2 words. They are separated by millions of miles. And what is that millions of miles which separate them? Just this to be and to become. There is a millions of miles separation. There is a parda in between. What is that? Because for being, for knowing you need light. For being you don't need light. The screen was there in the theatre when there was no light. But to know that the screen was there, the projector has to throw light. But before the projector, the screen was there. The screen is Sat. Everything that is happening in life is happening on this screen of Sat. But unless I throw attention, I can't see it, I can't know it, I can't understand it. What is the difference between this light and the screen? What comes in? What parda comes in? What veil comes in? What veil comes in? We can't see it, but it is the very coming of light brings in this veil, and Sat is cut off. We have no connection with Sat at all. We live in this world of Chit. What is it? Supposing I'm looking at a distant star through the telescope. The star may not be there. Why? Because light takes time to travel. Am I coming across? Light takes time to travel. The star may not be there, but I see the star there because light has come to me after millions of years. So, between being and knowing, what is there? What is born? Time. The very act of knowing needs light. But the Atma is not light, it is beyond light. It is not light. Not light as the way we know it. Tamaso ma jyotir gamaya, but not this light. It is a different light. It has nothing to do with this light. But when we talk about knowing something, there is a movement of light, and movement of light implies time. We are now already in the bondage of time. The very act of knowing. The very act of knowing implies the bondage of time. So, Darwin is saying that this plant grew out of that foam, and that plant had chit, it had attention. Before that there was sat, now there is chit. What does it mean? A stone has sat, but can I see that sat? No, I say it's a dead thing. But the stone has sat, but there is no chit, there is zero chit, so I cannot see that sat. There is no light in the stone which expresses itself, but it is there. In the plant there is this chit, there is a movement, I can see it, so I say the plant is not dead, and an animal can move much more. Now this chit, which is attention, which goes out, the plant is looking for its food, the animal is looking for its food. In a human being it takes on a different form. What form? What difference comes in a human being? What is the difference between an attention in a human being and an attention in an animal and an attention in plant? Supposing an animal is eating its kill, its total attention is in it cannot daydream. Can an animal daydream? No. I get a very juicy kill tomorrow. No, it's not possible. It cannot daydream. What is the difference? What is the difference? What does man have that the animal does not have? Huh?
Intelligence.
No, attention. The animal's attention can only go outwards. Man's attention can go out and in at the same time. That is why he can daydream. If the attention goes in, he dreams that will I get this tomorrow. A plant's attention can only go out, where I throw my roots, where I take my leaves. It cannot go in. This is the difference between all life and human life. Humanity has the possibility of taking attention inside, and this is its quality. Now when we take attention inside, what happens? What is the end result? I am drinking tea, one arrow of attention on the tea, and One arrow inside. I can say, this is a very good tea. It's better than the tea I had yesterday, or it's better than the tea I'm going to have tomorrow. If an animal is eating his kill, he cannot say this is going to be better than tomorrow's kill. Or comparing it with yesterday's kill. There may be a small instinctive comparison, but that is very mechanical. It has nothing to do with, because the instinctive center is pre-programmed, nothing is added. It comes with birth. Am I coming across with this?
Is that the same as insight?
Which one?
This, what the man can do.
Self-awareness. When the attention goes in, he gets awareness of self. When the attention goes out, it is awareness of the object. This is awareness of the subject. So he is able to divide his attention. No other creature in the universe can divide the attention. Only man. The attention can go in. And this is the quality of a human being. And unless we are using this quality, we will not yet become man. I'm drinking this tea, but at the same time I'm aware that I am drinking the tea. There are two experiences happening simultaneously. A lion is only drinking his tea, he is not doing anything else. This inner movement of attention. So what is the difference between this second stage of consciousness and the third stage? The first stage we saw was Sushupti, deep sleep. The second is psychological sleep, which we call as Swapna, psychological sleep. And that means the inner presence, the inner consciousness is in a dream. We feel we are conscious, we are doing this in consciousness, we are doing that in consciousness, but we are not holding double-arrowed attention. We are not aware that we are doing it. Drinking the tea and aware that I am drinking the tea at the same time. This is the state of the third level of consciousness. The third level of consciousness. And that is called as Jagruti. Self-consciousness. Jagruti. And the fourth state where everything dissolves but into heightened awareness, and that is called as Turiya. These are four states of consciousness. Sushupti, Swapna, Jagruti, Turiya. Turiya is objective consciousness. Now there is no sense of you and me. In Jagruti, I am aware of myself as I am. Whatever I am doing. There are two experiences happening. That is why I say all the pujas at least do in a state of Jagruti. Why in a state of Jagruti? Why in a state of Jagruti?
For it to make sense.
Because the help we are asking is from Turiya. What we want is lying in Turiya. If we are doing it in a state of Swapna, it cannot reach, because in between is this state. This is here and that is there. And in between is the state of Jagruti. Unless we are in that state, help cannot come. We can go to the temple, we can do this, we can do that, we can do 1,000 pujas, but no help can come, because we are not in that state of double-arrowed attention, of self-consciousness. It is in that state of self-consciousness that we touched into the fourth state, and from there something can come to help us. This help which comes from there is what we call prayer and grace. It is only in this state that prayer has some meaning. Till then all prayers are mechanical. Jesus tells the story of this person who comes in the middle of the night. And he says, I'm hungry. And the wife tells the husband, we've got a guest in the middle of the night. Please go to the neighbor and ask for some bread. So he goes to the neighbor, and the neighbor says, okay, I'm giving you the bread. He doesn't get up. He keeps on sleeping. And he's waiting over there, and he comes back to his wife. I tried, but the neighbor didn't get up. And the wife gets angry on him. You didn't wake up the neighbor properly. So he goes again. And this repeats 6 times, Jesus says. 6th time the wife gets so angry, says, you don't come back unless you brought the bread. And he goes. And he keeps on knocking, and that neighbor says that now this guy is not going to let me sleep in the night. Just to get rid of him, he goes down and gives him a loaf of bread. And Christ says, this is the way you have to ask from your Father. The Father does not want to give. The Father does not want to give. You have to keep on asking. And in that keeping on asking, if in one moment we are in this state of self-consciousness, He gives. But in this mechanical state we are, if we keep on asking, nothing can happen. And so, this is the third state of consciousness. And in this state of consciousness, self-consciousness, there are glimpses which come from this state of Turiya. And it is those glimpses which make us hold on to this state of consciousness. Because they come with so much of power, those glimpses. So, this I wanted to just give you these four states of consciousness. The gopis are in the third state of consciousness. So we can't compare them to, we are in a mechanical state. We can't compare them to where we are. They are in this third state of consciousness. From the fourth, they have had a glimpse of Krishna. Now Krishna has vanished. And they want that back. They want that experience back. And they sing these gopi hymns. So the first thing is to get into that state of, keep a timer for a few minutes. Every couple of hours it will ring the timer. Get into the state of being. Bring double arrow. At least do one thing at that time in a state of self-consciousness. That I'm touching this, but I'm feeling myself touching it. Just do one thing. Slowly this feeling will become more and more powerful. And just the very feeling of self brings so much joy. Then that self, when it is fed by your own attention, you don't need other people's attention in life. Just now we are empty. Our attention is fragmented everywhere. And to fill that inner emptiness, I need him as a friend and her as a friend and a new thing and a new car tomorrow. Something to fill up that inner emptiness. And we keep on searching to fill up that inner emptiness. But if we are so full of our own attention, if that inner self is there, and if we are feeling that self, then we don't need anything from outside. Then it's over. It's so fulfilling. So just try to hold this state. This is the most important thing we can do, is hold a state of self-consciousness. Do something and feel yourself at the same time. Do something and feel yourself at the same time. This is the whole trick in rhythmic breathing. That is why Tauriyaji gave this rhythm. You practice breathing in rhythm, but you have to see that you are breathing in rhythm at the same time. There is one attention on the rhythm and one on whether you are doing it. And this state comes automatically, this third state of consciousness. Then the fourth is not far away. And what is there? If we are enjoying the pratiksha, whether it comes or doesn't come, what difference does it make? If we are enjoying the endurance, if the journey itself is so fulfilling, why wait for the goal? It doesn't matter whether the goal comes or does not come. And that is why it's so important to practice breathing in rhythm. It divides our attention into two parts. One on the rhythm, one on whether I'm breathing. And slowly that will turn from breathing into attention. One attention on what is happening outside and one on what is happening inside. Sena yoho ubhayoho madhye ratham sthapaya achyutya. Hey Achyut, the one who is always in that state, the one who can never fall from that state. Hey Achyut, please take my chariot between the two armies. Please take my chariot. The two armies, one in front of the five senses, one in the mind behind the five senses. Please take my chariot between the two armies. Yavat etan nirikshayam yodhu kaman avasthitan. So that I can see with whom I have to fight. Nirikshay, let me see each person whom I have to fight with. Let me study him. Let me study what is going on in my psychic nature. But for that the arrow of attention has to go in. I see him but I feel jealousy inside. Yodhu kamana avasthitan. It is with this jealousy that I have to fight. So I can see, but unless that chariot is in between the two armies, how can I see? Just I am stuck outside. The attention is stuck like a lion's attention outside. But at least the lion doesn't daydream. We daydream and brood at the same time that he hurt me yesterday. I am brooding about it today. I'm destroying the virginity of the present moment by what happened yesterday. This is the worst form of rape. Because the present moment is fresh. So, two things, presence and present. The moment is present, is Prakriti, and that inner I, the real I, is presence. And that presence does not come from evolution, it comes from Avatara. It comes from higher to lower. Just holding that presence. We have allowed the higher to enter into our lives. Just to be present. Before doing anything, sitting in a car, you've allowed the higher to enter into your life. Just that very journey you take in the car will be different. Now, it cannot become a victim of the law of accident. It's not possible. Because you've allowed the higher, and the higher is not a victim of the law of accident. Go to sleep at night. Just don't go to sleep. Just become self-conscious for a few moments. Allow the higher to do outer run, to come down. Allow it. Give it a little space. The sleep will change. Everything will change in life. Then it is not what we are doing. Because the higher is there always. The higher is fulfilling. And whatever we are doing is fulfilling. Whatever we are doing is joyful. This is the state of Makhan Chor. From each moment of life, we are stealing the Makhan. But for that, we have to be present. So, I just wanted to talk a little on these four states of consciousness as a sort of preamble into what we are going through. And we still have a few minutes left if anybody wants to ask anything.
Plants and animals, do they have consciousness? Do they have consciousness?
Who?
Plants and animals.
They don't have self-consciousness. Right? You are talking to me, so there is one consciousness, but you can be aware of yourself talking to me. So you can have two at the same. They cannot have two. They can only have consciousness of what they are doing. Right? And they usually do only four things, no? They search for shelter, they search for food, they search for mate, and they protect themselves. That's all they can do.
So who would be in deep sleep?
Pardon?
Who would be in deep sleep? You said there were four states of consciousness.
No, I can't hear, sorry.
Rajan said there are four states of consciousness.
Right.
The first one being in deep sleep. So who would be in deep sleep?
No, we go into deep sleep at night. Right? We go into deep sleep at night. But that deep sleep also has certain dreams. Then comes the state of swapna. Swapna is the psychological sleep we are in just now. Psychological in the sense that you are hypnotized by the event, or I am hypnotized by you are asking a question. I am not aware of myself at the same time. So that self is in psychological sleep. It is not awakened. But if I am talking to you and I am aware of the self at the same time, then that self has awakened. It is woken up from the sleep. You get what I am trying to say? Right? So then I am not in psychological sleep, I am in the state of Jagriti. So first there are glimpses from psychological sleep to Jagriti. And once the state of Jagriti starts getting established, there are glimpses from Turiya to Jagriti. Yes?
We often do yagnas.
Right.
In one of the mantras, or most of the mantras, we say, not me, not me. When you give ahuti, you say the deity's name or whatever, and then you say, it is that and not me. Is that the kind of thing that you are talking about? That consciousness that is not you, the ego is me.
But give something. Give something. And that is self-remembering, Atma Smaran, to give. You see, just now in this moment I can be jealous of you. Right? But there have been so many moments where I have already been jealous before. And those are lying in my memory. This is called as Smruti, what do you call it? Surati. To remember that. So when you're giving the yajna, don't just say Swaha. Bring self-consciousness. I give this incident, I give it. Where I was jealous of you maybe 10 days ago, I give it. Don't just say Swaha mechanically. Make it alive. Give something, really give something over it. You get what I'm trying to say? So the asura is going into the yajna, and what remains is consciousness. Consciousness is there. So don't just sit in the yajna, but really give something. And don't say it aloud, otherwise it becomes self-love. It is your own inner dialogue. Yes.
In other words, give that which is negative. Give that away.
Give it away. Give it to the fire. Then we'll start giving it to the fire of life. Because at that moment we have remembered to give it. And then then tomorrow I'll feel jealous with you, at that moment I'll remember. My problem is that when I'm jealous I don't remember. But if I made this extra effort to remember, I created a new memory. A memory to remember. This new memory I've created. Then tomorrow I'll be jealous of you, and suddenly I'll remember. I'll say, drop the memory in the yajna of life. Now there is no fire in front of me. In the yajna of life, I drop the memory and become conscious. So whenever there is that you're doing puja, make it real. Don't just leave it as a puja. Make it really real. Then you're giving life to it.
Is it our natural state?
The what?
Is it our natural state to daydream and we have to reach out to a higher level? Or were we at that higher level and somehow screwed it up and ended up daydreaming?
Why do we daydream? Because of?
Well, that's why I didn't want to ask the question, because I know you like answering.
Right. Because there's desire inside.
Yeah.
There's desire inside. And can we be free of desire? Then we can be free of daydreaming. Both go together. And this desire to set something right. So I don't just daydream, I brood also. Of something.
At what point do you reach that level of consciousness to appreciate that? Are children just like us?
Children do daydream, but then they are still innocent of desire. The daydreaming which is happening is associations which flow out of the memory. We cannot see this flow of associations. It is flowing in us right now also. I see your brown shirt and I remember one brown shirt of mine is torn somewhere else, or I have a brown car which had an accident. It's associations. One ring of the telephone here is called some other telephone inside. Right? You get what I'm trying to say. So children, these associations are flowing. Like a dream. In dream the associations flow. But because of our daydreaming we cannot see the associations. But everything is association. I hear a car horn outside, it triggers something else. So when we are free of this daydreaming, suddenly we see a river of associations in ourselves. And this is the river of memory which is continuously flowing. But only if we stop the daydreaming will we be able to see it. This is the movement of self-consciousness. We have to work on daydreaming. It will not come free of charge. That is yoga, to work on daydreaming. Yes?
The fourth stage of consciousness.
Right.
So you talked about us glimpsing it.
So how do you go from Jagrut to then Turiya? Is that only always going to be a glimpse?
I divide myself. And a point comes where even that self which I have divided goes. But first I have to create that self. You get what I'm trying to say? Just now there is no self. That self is asleep. So every time I try to wake up that self from the sleep, I try to bring two experiences at the same time. A point comes where that self becomes very powerful. Then there's Brahma, expansion of self. That self expands. Then I don't feel you as separate from that self. There's expansion of that self. And there is an inner movement towards that expansion. It is in that expansion that I start getting glimpses of Turiya, where the self has dissolved into the ultimate self. Where the self, but just now I don't even have that self. You get what I'm saying? I have a small self, then I create a big self, and then I dissolve that self also by expanding it. So in deep sleep I am unconscious. Turiya is the same state, but I am conscious. That's why this afternoon I talked about one technique where you close the windpipe and you go into unconsciousness. And you go into unconsciousness, but you're doing a mantra at the same time. So in that unconsciousness, you're little awake, little aware. And suddenly you're in a state of that Turiya. Directly you move into Turiya. You bypass all the other states. Because in deep Sushupti you become conscious. But you're talking of that state. But for us it is this movement from psychological sleep to self-awareness. It is, just now we get glimpses of self-awareness. And in self-awareness, if we can hold that state, maybe of Turiya.
Earlier you said nostalgia is a good quality, but I think maybe you can explain again the difference between, it's a nostalgia or reminiscing in the past, as opposed to just daydreaming or thinking.
In dreaming, there's just movement in the mind. I must feel it at the level of the senses. The senses are present. So that is in the morning, you see, in conscious sleep, I'm trying to make you all aware of the different. I say vanilla ice cream, but no, just taste it. So to invoke the power of the senses. Right? So nostalgia, we bring that past incident and we hold it in the present moment as if we are reliving it, not daydreaming it. Not daydreaming it. In daydreaming, I could be imagining something else, and in brooding, I could be setting something right. Not that. It's just what happened. I'm expanding the energy of the senses. Supposing, say, I have certain of these, my special experiences. Say like, one of them was that whenever I would go to meet my guru, he lived on the 6th floor. So he would come out of his home, come right to the staircase, then the staircase would go for a set of stairs down and turn halfway to the other floor. So till I came to this stair, he would be waiting there, then I would look back at him and he would bless me. Now that feeling, I can relive that feeling. It is not daydreaming. But when I see him standing there, I see him now standing there. That romances in all my senses. You get what I'm trying to say? Just that one scene. So like this, I have a treasure house of sensitivities. And that is nostalgia. Reliving. I can expand upon it. Maybe at that time, when he really did it, I was daydreaming, but now I'm definitely not daydreaming. Maybe at that time I just said bye sir and went away. Right? But now I'm not just saying bye sir. You get? The intensity increases. It's nostalgia. Using nostalgia. Using past experiences. Reliving. Yes?
So you started by talking about the energy of love.
Right.
So, bhakti or devotion, is that a route to discovering yourself?
It is this very love, ordinary love, which is the same stick which comes into devotion. At the lower end it is lust. And if we can transform it, it becomes devotion, prayer. But if we hold on to the lust, then we move into whatever it brings. The pain or whatever. But it is this lust which we keep on refining right up to the prayer and devotion. So it's the same stick. It's the same stick. But the beauty of it is that in life we get chances where we fall in love. But do we take it through this process of refinement or not? Usually we don't. We stay at the lower end of the stick. And then relationships become hell after that. So love is a beautiful feeling. But if we can just hold on to the feeling, keep on watering that feeling, let it grow. Without our attention not stuck on the other. Attention goes inside. The other is an excuse to love. I love you, I will die for you. Right? But if you look at somebody else, I'll kill also for you. So it is from that level of love that we take it higher. Shall we stop here? Okay, tomorrow is a holiday? Huh?